Hey guys, Ron here, and gosh darn it do you guys love when I hop on some kind of Fakemon trend or challenge. Like when I turned legendary Pokemon into regular old Pokemon, or changed one letter of a Pokemon to create a new one. And today is kinda similar. What if I created a new Fakemon by using existing Pokemon names? So for example, what if Luxray was not a combination of Lux and X-Ray, but rather Luxury and Stingray, and was a fancy looking Stingray Pokemon? Or what if Cobalion was a combination of Cobalt and Lion, and was actually a blue lion? Well, that's today's challenge, folks. I was hesitant to do this challenge for some time now, since I can't possibly use these Pokemon if they share a name with a real Pokemon. But that's where you guys come in. Simply let me know what names you would give these Fakemon if they weren't part of this challenge, and I'll let you guys know in the future what you should call them. For now, let's make a completely new Pokemon you've never seen before, named Charizard. Now, Charizard is quite obviously a charred lizard, but let's completely replace the dude. I'm sure many would love that, except for Game Freak, of course. I want Charizard to be a combination of Charisma and Wizard. What if I made a charismatic wizard Pokemon? Something straight out of D&D, since Charisma is one of those stats in the franchise. Sorcerers, Paladins, Warlocks, and Bards rely on Charisma, so I want this wizard to embody all of these D&D classes. But of course, as a wizard, this Pokemon will have high intelligence. But when I came up with this concept, I had a genius idea. I was thinking of animals associated with magic and landed on rabbits. That's not the genius part yet. And a few videos ago, I turned Bugs Bunny into a Pokemon named Harriet that uses a carrot as a weapon. What if I evolved it into a psychic type that is even wiser and uses the carrot as a staff? Brilliant. I'll also make the carrot a makeshift flute as a bard reference. Now, in the beginning of this process, I tried my hardest to make the ears look like wizard hats somehow, even if it was just the silhouette of a wizard hat. In fact, this design will take me the longest to make for some reason. I guess there were already many Magic Bunny Fakemon, and I wanted mine to look unique. But the real reason is that I had a tough time drawing the face of an older bunny with a beard. It just didn't look right. I wanted the whiskers to look like a mustache and chest fur to look like a beard, but I think it didn't work until I fully committed to making it a lop rabbit, with a long, floppy set of ears that mimic the look of a wizard's robe or cloak. They fold on the top and are still pointy, so it still alludes to a wizard's hat. I streamlined the head and made it look more mischievous. It's a wise Pokemon that thinks it knows more than you, and it probably does. The rest was an effort to make it look more medieval, with flower bulb shoulders and carrot staff. Its patterns are simply a natural evolution from its pre-evolved form. The colors are a darker yet grayer version of Harriet's palette. I love the phthalo green on its shoulder and ears. It's very regal looking. Check out Charizard, the Charisma Pokemon from Charisma and Wizard, a grass psychic type. Charizard is a sly Pokemon that outwits foes and charms its way out of trouble. It uses its carrot staff to amplify its psychic powers. Its hollow carrot is also a makeshift instrument. It plays invigorating tunes that heal people and Pokemon. In battle, it charges up and launches energy blasts from a distance. If it must, it will resort to whacking opponents with its staff, kicking its foes, and even whipping them with its long ears. It uses its powerful hearing to eavesdrop on others, learning of their plans and reflecting back moves. Charizard is a bit selfish and egotistical, but will always come to the aid of others. It is surprisingly adept at supporting others in battle. It often devises schemes to acquire food and treasure for its friends and trainer. It has the abilities Healer, Super Luck, and Contrary. Its shiny is a bit more Bugs Bunny-esque. I originally wasn't going to take this video seriously and just make a bunch of Jokemons, but when I had the idea to make an evolved form of Harriet, I knew this complete family needed to be part of a future region, so I decided to put actual effort into the design, despite the names being completely impossible. That's why I really do need your help to give these mons actual names. Next, I'll steal Giratina's name. Its name possibly comes from girasol, a type of opal, and puratina, platinum in a Japanese accent basically. But what if instead this Pokemon was a combination of giraffe and retina, the innermost layer of the eye? Now, what in the world would a giraffe with eyes look like? Like this, I suppose. But what if it had more eyes and embodied the concept of sight? That's when I put it all together. I want to make a creepy Ultra Beast inspired by SCPs like Siren Head. What if I made a walking lamppost with a lamp as the head and the post as the long giraffe neck? This cryptid will have many eyes that evoke the memory of Stakataka, Balacephalon, and Xurkitree. It's literally a lamppost in the shape of a giraffe, very whimsical yet unsettling. Throughout the body, it will have various design aspects of a lamppost mixed with the hooves, joints, and horns of a giraffe. I imagine it to move all wonkily, twisted like its body. It'll have a will-o-wisp for an eye within the lamp that powers the lamppost. It's not a fire type though, since this wisp is pure ectoplasm. It's basically its soul, which powers the lights around it. It's pretty straightforward. You're all already familiar with lamp giraffes. I mean, you've seen them at night too, right? black, because big black monsters at night with bright accents are incredibly scary to me. OG fans know this already. It's part of the True Green lore. I'll make the segments gradually darker so that it's not just uniformly black. Beware, UB Sight, Giratina, the fluorescent Pokemon, a ghost electric type, from Giraffe and Retina. It appeared from the Ultra Wormhole. It seems to only be encountered at night, following those who walk alone in the dark. There has not been an instance of attack. Its bright life force powers the lights around its lengthy body. Its hide is relatively tough and shiny. The glowing dots on this Pokemon are actually glowing eyes. It is impossible to sneak up on it. It can see in every direction, but below it. To combat this blind spot, it swings its head down below its body. In battle, it swings its head around to hit opponents. To finish off its foe, it releases a powerful optic laser from one of its eyes. It consumes nothing and produces no waste. Nobody knows why it follows lone wanderers. It has the ability Beast Boost. This shiny is bright as hell. This was another joke concept that ended up looking terrifying and perfectly fit in with the other Ultra Beasts. It feels exactly like a Cryptid or SCP. Now, the number one Pokemon that inspired such a video is Zangoose. It's a combination of Zan, meaning slash in Japanese, and Mongoose. But what if it was a combination of zany and goose? Just a wacky fowl, a kooky bird. It'll be this chaotic Looney Tunes goose with a Harlequin aesthetic. It's the classic trope of an insane jester. Think the Joker or Jevil. Its face will also have the vibes of a Renaissance or clown mask. So it's a goose with a long, extendable neck. It's looking in all directions, so you know that it's damaged. Its face looks masked, so you never know what it's truly thinking. It has these dangling throat balls that ring like bells as it moves. The point is that it's incredibly obnoxious. It'll be plump like a stuffed bird, but also a bomb. Pointy goose feet that look like jester shoes, and a ruff on its neck. It's really just dense neck feathers. The signature Harlequin patterns to show the duality of this Pokemon. Magenta and navy contrast really well. A nice mixture of psychic and dark type colors while not looking too forced. Behold, Zangoose, the Chaos Pokemon, a psychic dark type, from Zany and Goose. Zangoose moves in ways that seems to defy the laws of physics. Its neck extends to triple its length and rotates 360 degrees. It uses telekinesis to juggle objects and spin around. It lives to entertain and will do anything to get a laugh. It will often juggle other tiny Pokemon to their dismay and startle others with its loud honk, only to then laugh in their faces and waddle away. Every part of its body makes a different sound, disturbing the peace of its neighbors. Its actions are unpredictable. In battle, it taunts its opponents and plays unfairly. It has the abilities Magician, Prankster, and Contrary. Its shiny is simply another type of Harlequin color palette. I think I was successful in making an extremely zany Pokemon that embodies the insane jester trope. I love Pokemon that are obviously dark type while not being edgy or all black. Pulling off a personality is what makes for some of my favorite Pokemon. Now, Klawf hasn't been with us for long, but I need to borrow its name. But to be nice to Klawf, I'm gonna keep the meaning. It's a combination of cliff and claw, so what if there was another cliff Pokemon with a claw? When I think of an animal that climbs and has claws, I think sloth. I mean, Klawf already sounds like sloth. But to make it a rock-type Cliffmon, I want it to look like an icy mountain. Therefore, I'm gonna take inspiration from the prehistoric giant ground sloth. What if there was a huge sloth Pokemon that wasn't slacking, whose various traits made it look like a mountain? So it's a giant ground sloth about to climb a mountain. It'll have a pointy mountaintop head with the eye pattern of a modern three-toed sloth, but the claws of a two-toed sloth. Now here's the important part. It'll have these extra bits of swirling fur that wraps around its neck. This will mimic the clouds around a mountaintop. So we have the peak, the mountain, and now the base of the mountain with tons of trees. That'll be this sharp-looking fur on its legs, thigh, and belly. The fur on its arm is meant to represent snowy slopes. That's what the colors will highlight, literally the palette of a snowy mountain during the day. This is Klawf, the mountain Pokemon, a rock ice type from Claw and Cliff. Their fur is coarse like rock, and their claws easily cut through ice and stone, allowing them to repel from great heights. They spend their entire day slowly climbing down the mountain to grab a bite from their favorite trees, and then climbing all the way back to the peak to sleep. They barely eat, but their metabolism is incredibly slow, allowing them to survive during the barren winters. They are incredibly resilient. They will continually sustain blows from foes as their claw slowly makes its way to their opponent's vitals. While it takes them a long time to land a hit, they will never give up. They always reach their goal. In battle, they freeze their solid head and headbutt foes. They can create snowstorms to evade predators. They have the abilities Snow Warning, Rock Head, and Refrigerate. Their shiny is almost like an autumn mountain during sunset. I love Pokemon whose body mimic entire landscapes. It feels like a walking mountain. It's relatively simple, but full of design traits that tell a story. And finally, the easiest name to cop, Cobalion. Some people already incorrectly pronounce it as Cobalion, so why not make it a Cobalt Lion? What if there was this jagged line with a blue metal crystal mane? This concept of a sharp line is a perfect opportunity to combine it with a manticore, a mythical creature with the body of a lion, the face of a human, and kind of like a sphinx, but with the quills of a porcupine, and in most stories now, the tail of a scorpion. So I'll see what I can do to give it the silhouette of a manticore. So imagine a rocky lion, very asymmetrical with a flowery mane. It'll have fragmented cobalt on its tail that makes it look like a scorpion stinger. It's very bulky. I have a problem drawing lion faces. It always starts out looking like a human face, because a literal lion face would make it look too much like a real lion, but it always works out once I just commit to making its face look like a lion's. The patterns that divide its facial features and body will look like foliated metamorphic rock, while the cobalt mane, arms, and tail will look like crystals. God, these deep blues and gray are breathtaking. This looks like the mascot of some luxury brand, like a fancy watch or casino. I don't know. But I realized that its design was a bit basic, when it comes to concept at least. It's just a rock lion, so I divided its arms to make it look like it's beaten down and put back together. Its lore will explain that. Look out for Cobalion, the fierce Pokemon, a steel rock type, from Cobalt and Lion. Cobalion's rock body is covered in a mesmerizing metal. Since ancient times, humans have hunted this rare Pokemon to use its minerals as pigments. Kings would wear robes dyed in the color of this Pokemon's mane. Cobalion prides have become extremely distrustful, despite the outlaw of this Pokemon's hunting. In ancient times, it would take 10 great men and their powerful Pokemon to take down a Cobalion, as it slashes with its sharp claws and tail. When its mane is chipped, it produces a noxious powder that slows down its foes. Just as a hunting group would think that they have worn down Cobalion, it would cause a rock slide and retreat to its deep cave. It has the abilities Rock Head, Tough Claws, and Solid Rock. Its shiny has a copper and topaz look to it. I need to turn this into an entire line. It could be the Luxray, or more appropriately Aggron of my region. It's extremely cool. I want this as a friend. And if you want to be my friend, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see a part 2. Check the description for the music I used, the t-shirts I made for you guys, and my Patreon where you can get cool rewards like seeing my videos days early, which you can also do by clicking the join button and becoming a member. Make sure to follow me on Twitter where I show sneak peeks of these designs too. I'll see you guys very soon.